Bristol City broke the mould of being just a mid-table club to go and challenge in the EFL Championship playoffs. Something their very young team with an average age of 26.2 would have looked forward to until they got smashed 3-0 in both legs. And that has caused upset at the Robins because now the manager Liam Manning is rumoured to help Norwich City out and leave his rather young team alone. And that is where I've got to come in because I am going to be taking over the Robins to try and finally take them to the Premier League past their heartbreak and potentially beyond. Yes, people, very excited about what we can do with this squad, which looks like Ruben Amorim's had his hands on it with this weird formation. None of the players in the positions that I actually want them in, as it's a big squad. It's a young squad apart from the occasional old players and Atkinson. Okay, I'm already learning about this squad. We've got a few players down here like Gardner Hickman. I'm going to sell him because I know he's just signed for Bristol City. Or not Bristol City, Birmingham City. We are Bristol. Then we've got Armstrong. Mehmeti's a decent young player. There's also Hirakawa. I'm getting really excited. This is a rebuild where we're going to literally just go all in with a young squad, build them from the second division all the way to the top, as Atkinson is actually our best player, but I really rate this man in real life, the young Captain Knight. Scott Twine's not worked out at numerous clubs, finally he can work out at Bristol City. And then this man who's back from a loan deal, Fali Mayulu, is interesting because his brother has just scored in the UCL finale for Paris, so he's got some growth catching up to do. He's going to try and take over his brother and join him in lifting the Champions League, because £11 million is a lot. And we did just use the life point system, so we are in next season. Without Liam Manning, I'm going to pretend he's gone over to Norwich City, as I really want to set this team up for a good future, and I'm going to play 4-3-3 holding. I still need to change the players around, but I'm going for inside forwards. I'm going for wing backs. Very interesting. I really trust them two in the middle, in Knight and Max Bird. Not because he's got the same name as me, because I remembered them at Derby. They both were growing through the ranks. And then a quick shift of personnel. We end up with this team now. We've got Dickey and Atkinson, a strong partnership at the back with Max O'Leary and Williams. I remember this guy got injured in the first leg of the playoffs, and then the side just went and crumbled. Apple crumble. Bristol crumble, I should say. Really feels harsh to say, but now I'm the manager. I'm going to try and fix that crumble. Baking a fresh pie. As you can see, I've got all the scouts or coaches involved to hopefully help this young team. And now the Regen Academy is already produced is pretty good. Jacob Gibbons. Okay, I don't mind it. And where's the goalkeeper? Because I just saw the kit. Look at that. That is a very nice goalkeeping alternative. Can't dwell on that goalie kit though. Got to dwell on our players because the first thing I'm doing is getting rid of a permanent one and then the loanee boys. And Yaki Wells is 35. He's had his time in the championship. He's going to sunny Spain. Then we've got Taylor Gardner Hickman, not Birmingham, but this time Southampton. And then the rest of the young lads I've just promoted, all getting good loan deals to clubs they should be playing for. As I've already mentioned, a player playing for a high one. The brother of one of our players, Mayulu, scoring in the Champions League. And now, will he actually get played for Paris? He's 74 rated at 19. I swear down, his brother needs to convince him a high sell-on clause, a high transfer fee, and the Champions League goal scorer joins a championship club. Brothers reunited, and this team, oh my days, it is united. Look at the growth. We've had it everywhere with every single player. Jason Knight, I've had to move to DM. That increased him by 1, and he's still gone and grown. Allowing Mayulu to be further up. He is brilliant. He is a straight up good signing. Swapping the Champions League for championship is mental, by the way, but it's helped him. As let's admit, Vitinha, João Neves, he wasn't playing at Paris. He's come to play with his brother, and if we probably don't get promoted, he can leave, as his brother does score a lot of goals for us. It's sensational that Liam Manning is even thinking about walking out on this team. Don't get me wrong, Norwich City are decent, and we do have some players in the team of the year. Scott Twine, who I said needs a resurgence of his career, and then Rob Dickey, the man who basically cost Bristol City the first leg of the playoffs this year. He went and put a terrible tackle in, as we do finish where we finished in real life, this year, beating Swansea to that 6th spot. As an FA Cup quarter-final, decent, getting beat by Everton, but a little marker of pride as we went straight out in the Carabao Cup. Portsmouth, I don't care, but I really care about the playoffs this year. The Premier League is not my focus season 1. I just want to build up a youthful team. Don't get me wrong, being in the Premier League would help us, as Ipswich smashed 6-2 over Liam Delap's team. He's still there. He got player of the season, and oh my days. I can't believe we've actually done it. We've won the playoffs. Coventry beat them. We're actually going to the Premier League. The 2 teams that lost in the playoff semi-finals this year are the finalists, but Bristol City, the ones going to the top division. And I don't think we survived, so I'm going to need some help to keep us in the top flight. I'm going to try and make them sign-ins. This is going to be a long career mode, so make sure you're strapped in by subscribing and liking the video. It's all fine and dandy getting to the top division in season 1, but honestly, does this team stick? No, I don't think it does. We've got some weak players. O'Leary's only 72 rated in goal, and he's actually older than I thought. Same as Ross McCrory. He's not even an out-and-out left back at the moment. That's going to have to get shifted. Our main centre-back is 30. And Mayulu, brothers, come on. Can you carry, even in the top division? Is there any teams really weaker than us as well? I mean, there's Man United in here. Joking. And then the Southampton. Maybe we could squeeze above them with the correct signings, but £35 million. Not striking me with belief. I don't think that's enough to survive in the Premier League. And plus, recent history with Luton, with Southampton, shows winning in the playoffs is not good for you, so I apologise to Sunderland in saying that, as yes, none of the youth players are ready to get in this team. We have Tanner and McNally, who could probably just squeeze onto our bench. And Armstrong at least has pace, so I'm going to keep him around, but I presume we'll get relegated. And this season relegation could not be the worst thing, because we should get a lot of money. But obviously that is not the aim. I want to try and survive. I'm going to try and build a monster team if I can. And I watched this guy play in the Serie A the other week. Zion Suzuki. He played for Genoa then, and he was really good against Napoli, the team that's just won the Scudetto, so it proves he can do it at the top of the Italian league. And just getting to see that snazzy kid just put a smile on my face. I absolutely love it. As next position I'm going to go to, maybe right wing. I do like Scott Twine. Let's just forget that voice break and go in for this Ghent winger because he's higher rated and should be better in the Premier League. Dario Osorio, 22-year-old, he's a left footer, so potentially could cut in, helping Mehmeti and Mayulu out. And I know I've just took one of our top scorers out the 11, but trust me, he's part of the project, staying at Bristol City with the new contract and helping the young team, as I'm going to help the youngsters by loaning them out again. I need the young lads growing, and I can't see the rating from this side. Oh my days. Okay, we loaned one out, Hirakawa, who's not even young. He's had the bloody best growth, only played 2 games, but I'm guessing they're the cup ones. Dugan not doing well. Oh, it's going to be a long season. Our top scorer was Fally Mayulu, only 13. We got 3 over 10 goals in a team that, I don't think will survive. Our signings have made all the difference. We've got an 80-rated Suzuki, then we've got Osorio and Mayulu. In fact, both Mayulu's doing well. We've got Knight, who's been a decent DM. Oh my lordy lord as well. I'm just going to let that sit for a minute. How on earth are Bristol City still in the Premier League? It's 1 point over Crystal Palace, a decent goal difference, but how on earth, with 29 points, is a team staying in the top division? We've broken the curse of Ipswich Town, Luton, Southampton, being a freshly promoted team and surviving, but thriving, that is still in question, as round 4 in the Emirates FA Cup and round 3 of the Carabao Cup, losing on penalties to Wolverhampton. Next year's going to be a difficult one, but I'm going to start by dancing with the tactics. Before we even sim over there, I'm going to make it a defensive approach, because if we don't sign defenders next season, we are absolutely screwed at this level. McCrory, Atkinson, Dickey, and Pring. Why have I never switched these over? There we go. That is a really weak defense still, though. And the young defender we had from the start, Erkzan's grown terribly. In fact, all the youth players really have. We've got Hirakawa, who was out on loan. He can make his way onto the bench. Scott Twine, I'm going to have to change one of them to a winger on the other side. Now, Armstrong is getting a bit left behind. But I still think we have to work on this first team. Finishing 17th is not an option. In this second season as Rob Dickey, he just has to move on now. And the budget just has to be better now. And please tell me there's some weaker teams in this division, but £20 million? It's just not good, is it? As now, Leeds United and Ipswich. Burnley, maybe we finish above. And Bournemouth have been down to the second tier. So selling, number one priority. We need to get some money after we've signed contracts to actually afford a player. So Mark Sykes has been here long enough, making zero impact. And I believe that is the defender, Rob Dickey. The only man that needs replacing. 12 million from Brentford the Bees, taking us to 31 after contracts. Okay, that's enough for one big defender. And hopefully one that keeps us in this division, because we're in season 3, we're still in the Premier League. However, the relegation threat still looms large, and Alejandro Frances, a very speedy defender, he's got decent defensive stats, and that'll do. Don't forget, we are playing a deep shape. Jason Knight fills in as another centre-back, and then Frances on the right-hand side of him hopefully helps sturdy it even further. Wow. And after one season at this level, the second season comes as a little bit of a shock to me. Now, we did just disturb the defence by taking Rob Dickey out and selling him, but I thought Frances was an improvement. Obviously not. 6 wins, 6 draws. Confirms Bristol City in Season 4's relegation to the Championship, which is not where we wanted to be. And another quarter-final, this time big upset. 7-6 on penalties. We stood such a good chance at beating Chelsea, one of the biggest teams left in there, and only round 2 in the Carabao Cup. If European football was on the table, it's now gone, as our signings still done well, like Suzuki, Frances to an 80, and then Mayulu, I don't want to stop his growth. He's still only 22-year-old. His brother's slowing down as well. And Osorio is our Dimi Payet. Too many players from the Championship that failed to get promoted this season. In real life, and our youngsters not doing too well, at least the Mayulus are, and also Osorio. Now, we're having to keep him next season, surely. An advocate of if you get us into this mess, you've got to get us out, as in the Championship this season. The likes of Barnsley and Charlton? No offence to them teams, I think they should be beatable. Ipswich and Everton may be a challenge, then lower in the league, we've got Sheffield United, and I think Norwich are in here. They are, with the old manager, and I'm desperate to try and get revenge on him for leaving this squad. And with £62 million, I've got to try and keep hold of this team, just improve the defence, get us back to the Premier League, and make a promise to all these signings. We will go out with a bang in the end of this season and get all the lads a trophy. We've got some growth in the youngsters, Gavin O'Grady and Kevin Dugan, but the past 18-year-old now, they're approaching the 20s. We've got George Tanner we could probably sell. Luke McNally is on the transfer list. Zach Viner can join him, because I'm really wanting to structure this defense. If we can change this current back four we have, really get some young talents in, we shouldn't just get promoted. We should be absolutely walking the Championship. Just look at some of our highest rated. We've got an 85 at this level who's only 24-year-old and a Champions League scorer, for God's sake. Next to a now 83 rated Max Byrne, I've just improved him. I've changed him back to a centre mid, because I did change him to a CDM, and I've done the same now with Cameron Pring. And Yu Hirakawa is now a left wing, so on the bench now. 280 rated players. That is just amazing, especially in the Championship, as now here go out a lot of players. Luke McNally, the first, and I'll probably see you when I sell most of the defenders, because here we are 2 weeks later, they're all gone, all the players I wanted rid of. Zach Viner, Joe Williams, and Ross McCrory all staying in England, giving us now £84 million to restructure a Championship defence. And Yaima Medina, now he reminds me of an Estupinan-like guy. Decent stats on the whole, a contract actually expiring, and from Ecuador, I believe, so a very decent Championship acquisition. Then we've got ex-Atleti Madrid player Ilias Costis joining the backline, and then we round out our defensive revolution with Mark Pubel. Another one from the second division over in Spain. I've tried to be bidding for players, you know, in second divisions because that's what we're in. And let's be honest, if we're not promoted with this squad, there's something terribly wrong. Still some originals in here. We've got Mayulu, Knight, Bird, and Mehmeti. Maybe the next to be replaced, but our youngsters have just never done it. Some of them hitting 21. That's unk status in today's day and age. Definitely not saying that whilst older than 21. Anyway, goal scorers in this team, we've got Osorio and Fali Maluyu. And that team of the season's probably telling us we've got promoted. I mean, Mark Pubel, for goodness sake, is in it in his first season in this division, which is danced through. I mean, we're a little bit late. Only 2 defeats, 33 wins, 110 points in the second division. Should be really what we're getting because we've built an incredible squad and spent money only the other clubs could dream upon. And then Wrexham, another club with a lot of money, have beaten us in the FA Cup and then Carabao Cup, unlucky to get City. Then again, next season, I think we should try and aim to compete with them. Yes, we've just got out of the Championship. Yes, we shouldn't be here season 4. However, for season 5, when we hit the Prem, we should be very different. Although we say this in season 4, and as you can see, or I thought that was Man City, it's actually Ruben Diaz playing for Brighton winning the FA Cup. So I don't know if City have done well last year. I mean, the beat us in the FA Cup and 76 million. It's a better budget than the first time we came up. And genuinely with this team, we should get money for the bench players if we want to sell, because we will need to sign players, but when we sign one, we're also getting rid of one. So my thought process is Hirakawa, get him sold, get him gone, then move Mehmeti to the bench and go all out on another big winger. Defense was priority last year, and if we can get someone up there with Dario Osorio and also Fali Mayulu, who I've got to state has 90 dribbling for a striker, which is insane. 99 positioning, shot power, and 96 shots, or 96 long shots, I think makes him best as a false 9. As this year tactics change, not formation, we're going high defensively. We're not dropping and we're allowing Knight to come out of the defense, having a false 9 in there, making whoever this winger we sign a huge player into the team, as we are going to sell Hirakawa. I've spoke about it many a times, and he's finally gone to Girona, the team we picked up Frances from, now giving us 95 million, and I just want one player through the door, and let me introduce you to Kevin. Kevin! A very solid Brazilian from Shakhtar Donetsk who found himself at Valencia and now finds himself in the Premier League. And is that the bat symbol tattoo on his neck? I can't really tell by just the picture. But anyway, enough on his tattoos. Let's talk about how he's played and how he has targeted getting into this team and staying there in a front three with 2 89s now and a 90 and a 90 behind, because Seni Mayulu has now taken over Fali. They've both grown by 4. We've got Max Bird growing by 4 also. As Osorio with the most goals again, 28 though in the Premier League. That's sensational, as actually a lot of Bristol City players in the team of the season, as Osorio announced player of the season. The man we signed from Belgium, outscoring Lautaro Martinez. However, not up there on assists. I'll let it slide if we've done well in the Premier League. Oh my days. And from the Championship, winning that division, we've gone and won the second division, then the first in England. Has this ever been done before? Let me know in the comments below. I think the closest miracle is Leicester's, but that is a Premier League title. Lucky to do it with 79 points. Still, we're not doing well in the Cups though, as Newport beat us, a team down there in League 2. That is funny. And then Barnsley in the Carabao of the Championship. And next year we enter the Champions League with Paris Saint-Germain in there. As I've said loads of times in this video, I'm sure, Mayula we signed from them and he's just won it. So hopefully this man can bring experience and maybe get us to the Champions League final himself. Or not actually on his own. There's just Osorio who's got player of the season and 108 million. Do we even need it? Because I am trusting this team. Really enjoyed this rebuild, just going for some potential players from lower leagues like Medina, Suzuki we found rotting in Serie A. Oh sorry, not rotting. It was at Parma, who were near the bottom of the table when we signed him. Pupil from the 2nd division. Costis, the same. I picked on Mayulu earlier on because he's been there and done that with Paris this year in real life, but now I don't think we actually need a starting player in this squad. With this team starting as mostly young players, some of them have not made it, and Sinclair Armstrong was one of them young guns who simply didn't take to our management. I trusted in Mayulu back from his loan deal, and I trusted him more bringing his brother across to help him out as we shoved Sinclair Armstrong across to Marseille, and out of the way giving us 128 million, but I want 2 positions. Obviously now a striker, but I would like maybe a fullback. Although Prin can actually play there, he can do CDM, he can do left back. So maybe a central midfielder. We can take Scott Twine off the bench, trust Mehmeti. So in fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Goodbye to a good servant in Twine. This man's had 2 spells at Bristol City and really done quite decent in both. And now then bench players. There's one player that wasn't fit for the playoffs, however was at Sheffield United, who just hammered Bristol City in real life. Oliver Arblaster. He's going to be the backup man, and I did want to go English because I feel like we need to add a bit more of an English spine to this squad. And that thought process will continue with another man who's just won the playoffs out on loan at Sunderland, Jayden Dans, the ex-Liverpool Academy graduate. A player we've just obviously found at Brighton, because where else? If you're a wonder kid not wanted by a club, Brighton are obviously going to snap you up. We found Arblaster though in Celta Vigo, and then this main team. Now, it's a shame that I think that is Seni Mayulu hasn't hit a 90. Damn it, though, I was wrong. This is Fali Mayulu. I'm still going to have to learn both. I think in FC26, I'm going to be signing both a lot of times, but our best player is the 93 rated Dario Osorio with 40 goals. 40, Dario. That's insane. And despite that record, I can't believe I'm saying this, we're 4 points off last year with more defeats and not won the Prem because it's gone to Manchester City. If they would have hit that point margin last season, they would have beaten us as well. So City back on the charge, as we don't make a charge for the Community Shield. However, the FA Cup is ours, our first major English domestic trophy. Outside of winning a league title, that is nice. I've always wanted one of these. And if we weren't in Europe already, that would have put us back in there, as the Carabao's never been our thing. Can't find us. There we are, losing to Liverpool. We've got so unlucky in that competition, and we've got very lucky in the Champions League. Now 3, or should I say 4 unbeaten teams, so we're not the only special ones. We just had less draws as we play the winners of the Champions League in real life. Paris just won it last night at the time of recording. We beat them 3-1. We then go ahead and hammer the league winners in Manchester City before moving on to AS Roma, another one of them unbeaten clubs. It's the Spanish derby elsewhere with Atleti taking on Real Madrid, but it's the Robins against Real now as we make the UCL finale. Ex-Atleti defender in our defence in Costas, the lowest rated, but will it be enough in our backline to beat Real Madrid? The Olympus Stadion as well, where I believe the Euros final finished, and this, surprisingly or not surprisingly, is Bristol's first UCL competition. In fact, they've never been in the Premier League, one of the biggest cities in England to just never have a team in the top division, as Osorio, one of our top players, just hasn't got going. But here we go with an impressive move down the right-hand side. Osorio to try and cut in. He is the inside forward with a false 9, just in his way all the time, as Vini Jr. versus Kevin, the battle of the wingers. The Brazilian wingers in this game, as here's Kevin cutting through the middle with the skill moves, laying it off into Medina, who is a far forward left wing back. That's a good pass into the middle. That's a brilliant move, and the false 9 in the position to tap it home. It's Fali Mayulu. Brilliant move all round from Bristol, scoring potentially one of the best goals I think I've ever scored in FC25. The way that was put together, chef's kiss, as now Mayulu. We want more. We smell blood. Before half-time, Osorio with all 40 goals. Looking to add to that, but at half-time, a little bit of a problem. We're going to have to put Dans on up front because Mayulu, the goal scorer, injured. That is exactly why we replaced Armstrong, but still Mayulu's on the field. His brother Make it inward roads. Can he get another one before he goes off with the injury? The answer's no. There's not a good tackle that from Maxi Bird. And whoa, it's a red card. Okay, so now we're down to 10 men. Oh, but here we go. Just at the end of the game, they're going to get a little flurry of possession. We've got 10 men. They've got 2 minutes. We need a tackle, and there's Frances. Please, referee. Our wingers have not even touched the ball, much being our best players. Knight gets a foot on the ball there. A tackle by Mark Bubel, and the whistle is blown once he hoofs it forward. Yes. No involvement from our wingers, who were our best players, but we win the best trophy. And to be fair, they've not had to get involved because obviously we scored that goal from the edge of the box on the spot, the penalty spot, as that's it lifted by Jason Knight. But as I was saying, that false 9 role, I really enjoyed having my striker on it. Maybe that's what I try in other rebuilds in the future. And definitely in next year's game. As let me know in the comments below which teams come next. I've got a few in mind, but I will listen to you guys, of course, first and click my hands if you want more videos.